Okay, happy Sunday. So it's time to solve the question for the week that will declare a winner, right? So the question for this week was a survey carried out by foreign economics students reported independently people's choice of palliatives to curb economic hardship. From each, the data collected revealed that 12 people want food. Remember, the initial question explained the abbreviations. Then 16 people money and 18 people asked for the establishment of transport scheme. A total of 13 people suggested installation of fuel subsidy. Remember, people were actually presented three choices, that is food, money, and transportation scheme. But 13 people in total asked something outside the options. Now, presented with two options, a total of 14 people dropped food, 16 people dropped money, and 13 people dropped transportation, while 8 people were indecisive on which to drop. That means they went for the three. So this is the main question. So we'll just interpret the question using a Venn diagram, and then we'll use the Venn diagram to answer the 10 questions that followed. So let's do this together. So since we have three options, we are going to make use of our three circles. So we are told that we have the option for food, the option for money, and the option for transportation scheme. So this is what we call a Venn diagram. So from the question, we are told that four students actually collected information independently. Now, when we say independently, means they all collected their information separately. But at the end, 12 numbers came from these four people. That's 12 people. Each from the four students said they wanted food. So it will be 12 times 4, and that will give us 48. So the number of people that wanted food were actually 48. And then we are told 16 people by 4 wanted money, and if you multiply this we give you 64. Please, you can make use of your calculator. 64 and 18 from this 4 wanted transportation scheme, and that gives us 72. So we have 72. But we're also told that there were certain people in total that actually didn't choose from these three options. And since there were 13, we can write the end part of this diagram, but not inside the circle, meaning they didn't accept these options, but they gave their own idea. So they wanted something else. So going further, we are told that people were now asked to choose between, out of the three, drop one. That means you have an alternative. So we are made to understand that a total of 14 people dropped food. Now, if they say somebody dropped food, means the person did not lie anywhere in the circle of food, but lie between money and transport. And the only space connecting money and transport is the portion here, excluding food. So the 14, remember, is in total, so we are not going to multiply. 14 chose money and food, and 16 dropped money. So we are not going to remove anything that concerns circle M, and this is the only place that is connecting food and transport. So 16 chose, remember it's 16, dropped money, and then 13 dropped transportation. So if we remove this, this is the side left. But then 8 people were indecisive. That is, they wanted transport, they wanted money, and they wanted food. So this is the portion connecting all of them. This is the summary of the long thing we read. Remember, mathematics makes it very beautiful to interpret long stories. So with just this, you can solve this. But remember, there is something, it's possible that some people wanted only few things. So we are going to create the table we are going to use, and I always call this my only table. I call it my only table. So we are going to maintain our three circles. We're going to maintain our 3 circles, and the 8 people that wanted all will definitely remain. So I want us to know those that wanted only food. Those that wanted food only. So from the cycle of food, we have a total of 18 people, but out of these 48 people, some wanted food and money, some wanted all, and some wanted food and transport. So if we subtract that, 48 minus 13 minus 8 minus this, we should be having 11. So it means those that wanted food only were just 11. They didn't ask for any other thing. So we are going to use the same way, and we get money only. Money only is 64 minus 13. Remember the circle is there, minus 8 minus 14. All the numbers in M. And you end up with 29. So those that wanted money only were just that, 29. So the same thing for transportation. If you say 72 minus that, minus that, minus that, you will end up with, let me see, you are going to end up with 34. Just cross-check that to be sure. Exactly. Now, in the initial table, we are told that some people wanted food and money. So we call that mathematically F intersection M. So only. So the part where we want food and money, we have two numbers joined together. So we are going to say 13 minus 8, and 13 minus 8 will give you what? 5. So those that wanted food and money, they are 5. Those that want, so the same way, those that wanted money and transportation only, there are 6. Remember, it's very simple. The same way I explained for money and food, you get everything. You subtract, just take a look, you get everything. Now, we are told that 13 were not in any of the options, so we'll still write them outside. So with these two tables, we can answer any of the questions that were asked. So let's take the questions one after the other. So question number 1 says, how many people chose food? How many people chose food? The initial total that we were given that chose food were what? 48. Irrespective of whether they wanted it with something else. So how many people chose food only? Now remember, I told you this is our only table. So we have to remove those that wanted a food and this, food and that, food and that. So only 11 people out of the 48 actually. 11 people wanted only food. That is, they're okay with food. Then question number 3, we are asked, if cash was distributed, how many people received money only? Remember, there is money only. Once they mention only, you go to the only table. So it means 29 people wanted money only, even though 64 indicated interest in money. Then number 4, the government should provide transportation scheme to how many people if this is accepted. Remember, there is no only. So for transportation scheme without only, we are going back to our initial table, and the value for transport is what? 72. But if they say transportation scheme only, then it will be 34. I hope you understand the difference. Then number 5, how many people knew exactly what choice to make? That is, how many people knew exactly what they wanted without attaching to other. Even though there is no only there, they are mentioning exactly. You know what you want. So to know those that wanted exactly one choice, we are going to say 11 that is for food, plus 29 that is for money, plus 34 that is for that. So this and this will give us 40, right? And that will give us 74. So 74 people knew exactly what they wanted. Number 6, how many people were in between two choices only? I hope you can hear the word only. So 2 choices only. We are going to the intersect. We have 5, 8, and 16. Sorry, 5, 8, and 6. So add up this, 5 plus 6, 11, plus that. So 19 people were in between 2 choices only. Then number 7, how many people preferred at least one choice only. Now in mathematics, when you hear the word at least something, means it should start from there and above. So they say at least one, so it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but in this case we have a maximum of 3. So we are going to add up everything we have, but remember this plus this already gave us 74. The intersects gave us 19, so we are left with 8. So we can easily add up. So this is what this gives us 13. 13 plus this will give us 21. Carry this, so we have 100 and at least one. We have 101. At least one only, remember. Then number 8 says how many people want both food and money. That is the intersection of food and money, but I think there is no only, so you go back to your initial. Food and money but not transport, so we have 13 people. Then number 9, how many people want money and food only. There is only, and this is directing us to the second table, but no transport. Money and food, or food and money only without transport. So here is the intersect, is 5. So these two questions may look the same, but one is referring us to the old table and this one is directing us to the only table. Then let's continue. Then number 10 says how many people were interviewed. If you're not careful, you choose the rough table and this will give you a wrong total, but this is giving you the exact people that were interviewed. Now remember, when we added this everything inside, we got 101, but then we have something outside. They were also interviewed, but they didn't make their choice from the options given, so we are going to add them to the number inside the circle. You can take your time and add everything together. So we have in total 114 people were interviewed. Now this question is very simple if you have understand all the rules or the operations around set theory. So from this question you can also frame up to 20 or 50 questions. So just frame some questions, use this information and answer. I hope this was also useful. Watch out for our next question come Friday. Thank you for keeping in touch with GMAT Solution. Have a nice week ahead.